In order to save her nephew from turning villainous in the future, this woman went to the orphanage to win over the male lead early while he was still a child. But she never expected that this seemingly ordinary orphanage actually hid an appalling and horrifying darkness within. The director and staff had been abusing the orphans for years. Seeing these children who were suffering endlessly from abuse, she decisively gathered all the evidence and reported them immediately. Soon enough, the black-hearted director and all staff members were arrested. But right after all the villains were taken away, the woman was completely stunned and paralyzed with shock. All the adults were gone. Then who will take care of these poor orphans in the future? Lucian, who was only 5 years old, turned the iron-blooded Duke's mansion completely upside down. Luna had just walked into the room and saw this familiar chaotic scene. She held her forehead with a headache and sighed. And the culprit was none other than her beloved nephew, whom she cherished deeply, who was also Lucian, the sole heir of the Bellman family. Hearing his aunt call for him, Lucian, stumbling on his short little legs, he rushed towards Luna. She made up her mind in her heart that today she must teach this naughty little fellow a good lesson. Just as Luna was about to step forward to discipline him, her foot slipped, and she fell heavily onto the ground. But who would have thought that Lucian, who caused the trouble, didn't feel a bit guilty at all? Instead, he pointed at the fallen Luna and burst out laughing. Suddenly, memories flooded into Luna's mind. She remembered her sister's tragic and short life. Back then, in order to seize the family property, the uncle ruthlessly orchestrated a car accident to kill the parents and forced the elder sister to marry the emotionless Duke of Bellman. However, at that time, in the Duke's heart, another beloved person already lived. The elder sister suffered cold treatment in the vast and cold Duke's mansion. Day after day, she lived a suffocating and depressing married life. But even though she was in the mud, her heart was always worried about her younger sister Luna, who was left alone with their uncle. One day, the elder sister finally mustered up the courage, made a request to the Duke to let her younger sister, Luna, move into the Duke's mansion to live together. The Duke agreed to her request, but in return, the Duke proposed a harsh trade condition. From now on, the elder sister must not interfere with the Duke's contact with other women in order to let Luna safely move into the Duke's mansion. The elder sister bit her lip and agreed to this cruel agreement. Thus, Luna stepped into the Duke's mansion. The elder sister gently reminded Luna that from then on, the two of them would have to rely on each other to survive. In the blink of an eye, several years passed. The elder sister successfully gave birth to a baby boy, Lucian. This child was a treasure that the elder sister would protect even at the cost of her life. Just when the two sisters had finally managed to piece together a bit of warmth and happiness in their home, cruel fate suddenly descended upon them. The elder sister was diagnosed with an incurable and serious illness. On her deathbed, the elder sister implored Luna that she must stay and protect Lucian well as he grows up. It is clear that right after the funeral ended, Luna was originally supposed to leave this Duke's mansion, but her sister's deathbed wish made it impossible for her to ever turn away and leave. However, the indifferent Duke never cared about Lucian. He also only looked at Luna as a temporary nanny. But now in this moment, as consciousness gradually becomes blurred, Luna's heart was filled with intense unease and self-blame. She silently apologized to her sister in her heart. Even though I tried my very best to raise Lucian, everything still just got worse and worse. Lucian was becoming more and more mischievous and troublesome. Everyone in the mansion was deliberately avoiding him. Even when he saw me trip and fall, he laughed like a born villain. Wait, the villain? Lucian? She had clearly seen this scene somewhere before. Right at this moment, Luna suddenly remembered the plot of that novel. The male lead of the story was B. Duke Bellman's illegitimate son, Edwin. Although born into a humble background, he turned his life around step by step and eventually took the seat of the family patriarch. And the core drive that backed him on this cruel path was precisely the endless bullying and humiliation he suffered since childhood. His half-brother, who had always abused him, turns out to be Lucian, the very person Luna had been taking care of. Due to the Duke's negligence, Lucian grew up in a twisted environment, becoming more and more paranoid. He continuously bullied and trampled upon Edwin, step by step pushing that poor boy, forcing him onto the path of revenge that would destroy everything. In the end, Lucian's fate was to be ended by the main character's own hands in the story. Luna's mind went completely blank for a moment, and she woke up with a jolt. Looking at the unfamiliar noble bedroom in front of her, Luna suddenly realized that she had actually transmigrated into the novel she had read in her previous life. where she was just an insignificant character, a bystander whose fate should have had nothing to do with mine, but thinking about how in the future he would become the mastermind behind the scenes, and the little boy Lucian who dies tragically in the end. Luna couldn't just stand by and do nothing. The maid beside her spoke softly. "Since you passed out, Lucian has stayed right by your bedside, without leaving for even a second." Little Lucian lowered his head and apologized softly that he didn't mean to hurt his aunt on purpose. It was just that while playing, he got too excited and accidentally caused trouble. Looking at the soft and adorable child in front of her, Luna couldn't hold back anymore and directly reached out to hug him tightly in her arms. Cold and indifferent, just like in the novel. The Duke didn't care about this son at all. Little Lucian's only reliance in this world was Luna alone. But the Luna in the original novel simply couldn't stand the critical looks from others, judging her for living and eating for free. Unable to withstand the external pressure, she finally chose to flee from the Duke's mansion all by herself. When young Lucian realized that the only person in the world willing to stand by his side had also turned away and abandoned him, leaving Lucian behind the door, helplessly calling out for his aunt again and again. The scene shifts. She is no longer the cowardly Luna from the original story who ran away. She must raise Lucian properly, and absolutely cannot let him grow up into the person from the original story, that villain who destroys everything. But embarrassingly, she has no parenting experience at all. How on earth is she going to correct Lucian's mischievous behavior? Luna picked up the teacup, intending to sip some tea first to calm down, and then properly think about what to do next. But the moment the tea entered her mouth, her whole body instantly froze. How is this tea so ridiculously salty? Beside her, little Lucian was so excited, he almost jumped up. "Great!" Auntie finally drank it down. He was secretly feeling delighted inside, seeing that the salty tea he added tons of salt to actually worked. "Got Auntie real good, didn't I?" The little guy held up the salt shaker with a proud look on his face. "Now even if bad guys break in, I can also use this powerful weapon to drive them all away." Luna instantly realized that this little kid actually secretly added a handful of salt to her tea. Lucian looked up with eager eyes, full of expectation for praise, looking at his cute and innocent little face. If it were the old Luna, her heart would have softened and she would have praised him. But this time she made up her mind secretly. Whenever he does something wrong, she must firmly tell him it's unacceptable. She absolutely cannot just indulge him blindly. At this moment, Lucian raised his head and timidly asked, "Auntie, what's wrong?" Luna looked at him and spoke seriously. "You can't just hurt or tease others carelessly just for your own pleasure." But Lucian had an indifferent look on his face. He didn't care at all, thinking as long as he was happy, that's all that mattered. Luna patiently asked him back, "If Auntie is in a bad mood and keeps making fun of you and teasing you on the side as well, in the future, let's not casually cause trouble for others anymore, okay?" Lucian muttered softly, "But I just like having fun." Luna knew in her heart that lecturing him just once wouldn't work at all. She spoke gently. "Lucian, please try to exercise a little self-control. Auntie believes you can definitely do it." Lucian hesitated for a moment, then nodded firmly. "Although it's very difficult, I will definitely try my best to do it." Luna's eyes instantly welled up with tears, and she pulled him into a tight embrace, looking at the soft little guy in her arms. Luna silently made a vow in her heart. Lucian is so well-behaved and cute. He will definitely grow up to be a kind and upright child. The next day, Luna, anxiously, was in the huge Duke's mansion searching everywhere for Lucian. The moment she pushed the door open, Lucian couldn't wait to wave his hand at her. "Auntie, quickly look at this. Do I look good dressed like this? Doesn't it suit me really well? No matter what our Lucian wears, everything looks great on him. He is simply dangerously cute." Luna's heart totally melted seeing how cute Lucian was being. But do you honestly think he's reformed that easily? Or is another mischievous plan brewing underneath? The real show begins in part 2.